Hi, my name is Supriya Regmi and today I'm going to present on the topic Australian financial market. We are 4 members in our group and our group number is 004. Let me start with my presentation. Firstly, I'm going to describe about the introduction. So in the introduction part, first part is about the 4 financial institution that includes commercial bank, insurance company, investment bank and investment funds that are in Australia. So classification, key business activities and main source of incomes of those financial institutions are discussed in details in our assignment. Also, 3 financial management questions are defined, such as comparing capital budgeting, capital structure, and working capital management with the different institutions, and their examples are also described in details. Second part of our assignment is a detailed discussion of the fact in the Australian financial market regulation, and the fact about the requirements of the financial advisory requirements in Australia are also discussed. Last part of the assignments is the evaluation of the risks related to the project, and evaluation of the return generated by that project is also discussed in details. All our data are collected from ASX, ASIC and APRA source. The first part of the assignment is research and fact-finding of Australian financial market. So for the commercial bank, Westpac is selected for the research, which is categorized in the list of the financial sector. It is listed on Australian Security Exchange with the code of WBC. The core business activities includes commercial banking, business banking, BT and institutional banking. The main source of income for Westpac is it sells the list of services to the medium, small business to agribusiness customers in Australia. The next Australian financial market is the insurance company, in which we have selected AMP Limited. It falls under the insurance categories of the Australian Stock Exchange list. It is listed on ASX by the code of AMP. This company is the insurance company based in Australia and New Zealand. It operates in the provision of superannuation and investment products. The key business is to offer banking products like home loans and saving accounts. The next financial market is the investment bank, in which we choose the Macquarie Bank, that is the Australian Independent Investment Bank and the Financial Service Company. The code of the listed Macquarie Bank stock on Australian Stock Exchange is MQZ. Macquarie Bank operates in the business of investment banking, commercial banking and asset management. Retail business is a small part of the source of income for the Macquarie Bank. The next one is the investment fund, which is the financial market, and we have chosen Future Generation Investment Fund Company Limited. So the code for the Future Generation Investment Fund Company Limited is FGX in Australian Stock Exchange. The company operates with the investment fund that are managed and is maintained by the various Australian equity fund managers. Company key business is to provide the frank dividends for achievement of capital growth and preserve the shareholders' capitals. Thank you. That's all for my part, and I would like to call my dear friends to do the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Asma. My student ID is VSS32287. As I have worked on question number 1.2, which is 3 financial management questions, that is capital budgeting, capital structure and working capital management. So let's first discuss about capital budgeting. What is capital budgeting? It is a process that helps in planning the investment project of an organization in long term. Second is, what is capital management? Capital management determines for all adequacy of capital. It plans for increasing or decreasing the capital. After analyzing all this, I have found some of the analyzing characteristics for the capital budgeting, which is first we have to estimate the project expected cash flow. Second is assess the risk of those cash flow. third is we have to estimate the appropriate cost of capital, which is discounted rate. Fourth is to determine the project probability and break-even characteristics. Let us look some analyses on capital structure, which includes capital structure analysis, periodic evaluation of all the components of the debt and equity. Capital structure usually confined to short-term debt, leases, long-term debt, preferred stock and common stock. Our third analyzing is on working capital management, which is commonly involves monitoring cash flow, current asset and current liabilities through ratio analysis, which is a key analysis of operating expenses, which includes working capital, collection ratio, and even inventory turnover ratio. So as I have worked on Westpac, let us discuss some points on Westpac. As Westpac has recently launched the investment that are offering complete innovative ways to invest. They are providing portfolios which analyzes, it saves time in researching, monitoring and purchasing the investment. Even experts are giving these options now to start the investment, because due to COVID-19, even AMP Limited confirmed 19 days ago that it is going to divest its New Zealand wealth management business, and even the Newland wealth management is going to retained by group, and companies will focus on the business markets only. Thank you.
Hi everyone, this is Avnav Bhamatya and I am here for the group presentation of Finance for Business. Thanks Supriya and Asma for your wonderful presentation. So now I'll be discussing about my part, which talks about the benefits and the requirements for getting listed on the Australian Securities Exchange, which is also known as Sydney Stock Exchange. So let me begin with the benefits. The first benefit is raising capital through IPO. Whenever any company is in need of the funds or capital, they can simply issue shares to the public. Then we have sustained demand for company shares, then frequent disclosures and reporting, which increases the operational efficiency. Any company that gets listed on the securities exchange, they need to publish their financial statements, their cash flows, their income statement, balance sheet, whatever it is. They need to publish them either on a quarterly basis or at the end of the financial period, so which helps to increase the operational efficiency. Then we have the confidence of creditors and suppliers, helps to generate the independent valuation of the market based on information. Now I'll be talking about the requirements for getting listed on the securities exchange. For a company to list on the securities exchange, it must satisfy the minimum admission criteria, and the minimum criteria depends upon the size, nature of shareholders and the free float. The company should also pass the profit test or the assets test. The profit test requires that the company must get 1 million Australian dollars aggregated profit from continuing operations in the last 3 years, in addition to $500,000 consolidated profit from continuing operations over the consecutive 12 months. Then we have the steps of the listing process, which begins with the appointment of the advisors. Advisors are the parties, which includes brokers, corporate advisors, lawyers. Then we have preparation of prospectus and the due diligence, commencement of institutional marketing. Then we have lodgement of prospectus with Australian Securities and Investment Commission. Then we have appointment of advisors. So like I said, for a successful IPO, a qualified team of advisors must be hired by the company. Now we have the preparation of the prospectus, due diligence process, which is conducted at the same when IPO is launched and the prospectus is drafted. The prospectus must be drafted in such a way that it furnishes all the information that is required by the investors, and their advisors. The information that is published must be able to enable the investors to know the rights and liabilities that are attached to the shares offered, and the assets and liabilities and the financial position of the stock issuer. Then we have lodgement of the prospectus, lodgement of the listing allocation with the Securities Exchange, marketing and offer period, and closing the offer. So that's all for my part. Now I'd like to request my friend to continue with the further presentation. Thank you.
So from the part 3, we can analyze that the net present value is more sensitive to change in unit price and unit sale. When the 10% decrease in unit price reduce the net present value by 27.66%, whereas 10% decrease in unit sales reduce the net present value by 13.83. Thus, the management must be doubly check on the net present value. However, the net present of this project seems less sensitive to fixed price closely, where 10% increase in fixed cost only cause a reduction in the 1.26% of the net present value. So on the final part of the conclusion, this report discussed the financial regulation in Australia and the regulation that is imposed by ASIC. It provides the list requirement and the step benefit and the challenging on a company will face for the listing on the ASX. On the second section, the rules related to the regulation of the advisory service, that who is eligible to perform the regulatory service and who is not eligible to do it. So on the final section, on the third section, we can discuss about the project evaluation, which depend upon the various parameters, and conclude with the given project is least sensitive to changes in the fixed cost.